Today's video is the start in a series of about 4 videos that I want to discuss why clients, building owners, and facility managers do not approve important fee proposals. So you're putting in fee proposals to upgrade the BMS server or the obsolete field controllers, really important things. If these things fail, you've got a massive problem. Why are those fee proposals ignored? You're putting in fee proposals to do energy efficiency work, control strategy optimization. You're going to download smarter software programs into the existing field controllers. Pumps are going to slow down, fans are going to slow down, the COP of the chiller will increase, the chillers will be more energy efficient, the building's energy efficiency rating will increase. Those fee proposals, really highly valuable stuff. Why do owners ignore them? As a BMS consultant who is representing the customer, I know why they're not approving your fee proposals. So we're going to step through for the next few videos and discuss these reasons. If you listen really carefully and you take notes, you'll be able to get more of your fee proposals approved and generate more revenue and more service, small projects work. Let's get into it. You may have realized the last few videos I'm just really sharing my screen and talking through previous presentations that I did last year. I've realized it's a lot easier for me to do that than sort of think up a new topic, because it saves me about 2 or 3 hours in the morning on a Sunday thinking about what should I talk about. So I'm just going to keep working through these presentations from last year. This presentation is, a subset of a larger presentation. I did some free training for BMS or BAS account managers last year, trying to teach them how to understand how to make more money. I'm not doing that anymore though. So yeah, you might notice I'm just going to have a couple of slides. That's because it's part of a much bigger presentation that I previously did. As I said in the intro to this video, we're going to talk about 5 reasons building owners do not approve important fee proposals. There'll be 4 of these videos and there'll be a couple of slides in each of these videos. Today I'm talking about the first reason why building owners don't approve of proposals. I think it's the most important one, so it's the first one. And of course the intent here is that you take down some notes, go talk to your manager, the salesperson, the account manager, and try and break down some of these roadblocks so that you can earn more money more easily. Because my opinion is that BMS companies have completely the wrong approach about how to sell to their customers. BMS companies were good at training our staff how to build a BMS, write software programs, build database, graphics, alarms, trends, reports, how to integrate to third-party systems, and we teach our staff how to maintain a BMS. If the actuator fails, you replace it. If the controller fails, how to replace it. What we're not good at is BMS companies, in my opinion, do not train their staff on more complex topics like how to design a BMS, how to commission a BMS, how to service a BMS, and then how to sort of sell to your customers, marketing type stuff, how to take your customers on a journey. So the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to just read through the slide and then explain it. Since 2014, building owners and facility managers have been paying me to solve problems that BMS companies should be solving themselves. Owners will initiate projects at my recommendation, but not from the BMS company's recommendation. In other words, from their fee proposal. This is because BMS companies do not know how to play the game. Simply issuing a fee proposal for important work is not enough. Well, let's unpack that. I am regularly engaged by building owners and FMs to come and do an analysis of the building control system. So I'll come to site, have a look at the BMS system, graphics, alarms, trends, reports, the O&M manuals, operation and maintenance manuals. I'll just have a look at the, what's the end of life support program for each device, the servers, network controllers, field controllers. I talk to the BMS company, the mechanical contractor, the facility manager, and over about a month period, I just deep dive and analyze the building's control system, then I write a report. My report will start off by talking about, here's the current status of the BMS and, what you've got, how old it is, when it was installed, what's its normal support program for it, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And then I will list out a table of here are your high priority issues, medium, low priorities, some budget costs. and I would normally make 2 or 3 options for 3 different ways to solve this problem with budget costs, and I make a recommendation for what I think the right thing to do is. Now, a lot of the time, or most of the time, the building owner will accept my report and then execute these works. Now, the point I'm making here is that a lot of the time, I normally ask the BMS company, send me the last 5 years of all your fee proposals that weren't executed in the last 5 years, and I'll read them. And what normally happens is my report tells a very similar story to the combined fee proposals, if you read between the lines, that BMS company has been submitting in the last 5 years. So BMS company is telling the customer the same problems. I'm just telling them it in a different way. So when I work on a project, I get a fee to do something. When I get that fee and I start on the job, I basically do everything I can. My complete focus is around how to solve this problem for the customer. What is the most cost-effective way to solve this problem? I'm completely focused on the issue and the solution. What's the best solution? My thoughts on this is that BMS companies, especially large BMS companies, what they do is all these managers sit together in a room and they say, oh my gosh, we've been issued our budgets for the year from Europe or US, where it comes from, and we do not have enough maintenance contracts or projects to actually achieve these budgets. How can we earn more money? So with big BMS companies, the thought starts with how can we earn more money, and then what do we need to do, what do we need to offer our customers to make that money? So a lot of BMS companies start with how can we make more money? Let's invent a solution to earn that money. And then someone puts their hand up and says, hey, why don't we offer a technology product? We can earn $20,000, $30,000 a year subscription service, passive income on all of our sites, 200 sites. That's a great idea. So they blast out this fee proposal for $20,000, $30,000 for technology across to all their sites. This to me is a problem. We shouldn't be starting with how do we earn more money. We should be starting with how do we better service our customers? How do we provide more value to our customers? I promise you now, if you do the right thing by your customers, the money will follow that. So I don't think that the approach we have works very well, because building owners can see through it. They get this fee proposal. They've never heard about this thing. Just here's the fee proposal, give us the money. It feels like you're putting your hand out and just asking for money, making things up. So that's why, in my opinion, owners will often execute off of my recommendation rather than a fee proposal. A fee proposal is the wrong way to communicate with your customer. A fee proposal is the last thing you send them 5 years later. You send them the fee proposal. There's a journey to build up towards that. And we're going to discuss that a lot in the next few videos. So that little number 1 up there, this is the first out of the 5 things that we're doing wrong. So get your paper and pen out, start writing notes. The first dot point, then let me read through the whole thing, I'll unpack it again like last time. The money has not been forecasted. I'll say it again. The money has not been forecasted. We didn't give our customers advance notice that we needed the money. Our important fee proposal gets filed in the bottom drawer, never to be looked at again and forgotten. Every one of your BMS sites needs to have a 10-year financial plan, a capital expenditure plan. Let me just show you that before I forget, because I'm really probably going to forget to show you that. So here's like I use this in the training courses, not a real one. Here we've got 10 years along the top here, and here's all the things we're forecasting our customers. So in the top here, I have all the Windows Server operating dates that become obsolete. And then I have like network controller upgrades, main plant controller upgrades, VAV controller upgrades, energy management system, building analytics, 3 phases of control strategy optimization. So phase 1 is chill water, condensed water, hot water. Phase 2 is high rise, AHUs and VAVs. Phase 3 is low rise, AHUs and VAVs. A cybersecurity upgrade, I've got a note here, need to add $2,000 each year to the OPEX budget, which is different to the CAPEX budget. Ethernet network upgrades, RS485 sub-network upgrades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, because this might be an old building. You've upgraded the BMS 2 or 3 times in the past. You've got very long sub-networks that daisy chain like 2 or 3 floors together. You have poor quality of data. And just random examples, maybe you want to provide new digital control valves like that Belimo energy valve, measure the flow rate and the supply and return temperatures, calculate kilowatts of refrigerant, blah, 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 very important. Maybe we're going to replace the pressure transmitters in 2029. And I got to, just to remind you here, when in the training I talk about this, that your budget costs also needs to factor in that there's some overhead fees for the client might need some overhead fees for the project. You might need a project manager to run the project. You might have a consultant like me doing it. So we're just adding some money on that. This doesn't show like, inflationary increases, like, 3% increase every year, but you get the picture. So the idea here is that every single one of your sites has to flip and have one of these things, right? So the customer can see that in 2028, I need $275,000 because I've got Windows Server 2019 and it's going to be obsolete in the next year in 2029. If you've got Windows Server 2016, you need the money here. If you've got Windows 10, you need the money here. If you've got Windows Server 2008, Windows 7, Windows 2012, Windows XP, you're dead in the water already. You should have spent the money long ago. So this is a 10-year capital expenditure plan. Every single server site must have one of these. And then every year, in the first week of December, you sit down with your customer and you talk about the CapEx plan. Oh, by the way, this year we added this, this, and this to the CapEx plan. And you start to socialize the idea with your customer. You're talking to them about this. You're not giving them a flip and fee proposal, you're talking to them about it. So that when 2027 comes and you send out $137,000 worth of fee proposals, they're not surprised by it. They're not surprised by it. They were expecting it for the last 4 or 5 years because you've been talking about it every year. They might say to you, hey, where's that fee proposal for the main plant BMS controllers, for the chillers, boilers, cooling towers, AHUs, at 125 grand? We spoke about it. Where is it? They'll be chasing you for money. They'll be hassling you for fee proposals. And let's just talk through that for a little bit more, right? So as you know, if you follow me on LinkedIn, that October last year, Microsoft stopped for support for Windows Server 2012 in October. So like in 2020 or 2019 or 2018 or 2017, you should have updated your 10-year CapEx plan to include the costs for the BMS server upgrade in 2023, like earlier in the year. You talk to your customer about, you might send them like a one-page little notice, oh, by the way, in 5 years' time, Microsoft will stop support for Windows Server 2012. A bit of notes here about why it's important to do it, blah, 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 some budget costs, not even budget costs actually. You just let them know about the idea this is happening, and customer, you have Windows Server 2012. But let's talk about this more in the years building up towards that. You start with that idea. Then you add it to your CapEx plan, like the next year or a few months later. So in December, when they open up the CapEx plan, you talk about it. They remember you mentioned this to them 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago with that little notice you sent them, a little update you sent them. And then next year you talk about it, next year you talk about it, and then maybe in like 2022 or in January 2023, you give them fixed fee proposal for $50,000 to do the work. They're not surprised by it. They're not shocked by it. They're not annoyed by it. They're expecting it. You buy the server, you get the job done. Now, in October 2025, next year, Microsoft will stop support for Windows 10. It should already be in your CapEx plan 2 or 3 years ago. You don't even have a CapEx plan at all. Do not ask for the money in 2025. Get onto this right now. BMS companies need to start acting more like consultants and acting less like contractors. I've written out a done-for-you BMS annual maintenance fee proposal that you can modify and make your own. Start offering your service customers what they really want, what they are demanding, and differentiate your BMS BAS service business from your competitors. Secure the upgrade of your BMS when it's obsolete and get invited to tender on your clients' other BMS upgrade projects because they like you because you're a hero. There's a link to our online shop. So what I'm trying to say is the fee proposal, your annual BMS maintenance contract fee proposal, which talks about CapEx plan, there's a cost in there that they should pay you to manage the CapEx plan. The fee proposal is how you start your journey in transitioning your BMS service business. All right, let's start wrapping this up. I've got 2 important last points to make. So stop writing notes and listen to me right now. I bet you not one of you is writing notes. Right? If you are writing notes, please comment down below. I'm trying to help you help yourself here. All right, the first thing is this. Creating a CapEx plan is not that easy. All right, the last time I was engaged to do 33 CapEx plans for a building owner for a portfolio of buildings, it was so hard, I promised myself I'd never do it ever again. So CapEx plans are not that easy to do. It's much harder than I made it sound at the moment. So just do this. Just start off getting your CapEx plans for all your sites, 50 sites, 100 sites, 200 sites, and just start off with the Microsoft server obsolescence issue, because obsolete servers trigger network controller upgrades and other types of upgrades. So if I was the boss at your company, I would say for the next 6 months, like say mid-year, whatever it is, every single site needs a CapEx plan with just the server and workstation operating systems in there. And like if you have a touch screen on a chiller management system in there, if there's a lobby display board in the front of the building where the tenants walk past and see how they're doing with energy, it's probably got a Windows operating system. All Windows operating systems, just start with that, get them all in. It's real simple, it's black and white. We know, Microsoft tells us way in advance of when server operating systems are obsolete. 2016, 2019, 2022, we have those dates. So just get that in there first. And at the end of this year, talk to your customer about it. Get the discussion started. Next year, add in some costs for network controller upgrades or obsolete field controller. If it's 9 years, in 9 years time, put it in 9 years time. If it's 20 years time, do a 20-year CapEx plan, right? Just get the ball rolling. It might take you 2 or 3 years. Your customer's not going to believe you in the beginning. They don't trust you because they're used to you doing the wrong thing. But after a couple of years, they'll start to trust you and they'll do it. That's the first thing. Just make a start at this, and then he swore there. Make a start at this and get a CapEx plan for every site, Microsoft stuff. Bill Gates, I love that guy. I send him a Christmas card every year in December. Bill Gates, I love you. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Thank you for making server operating systems obsolete every few years. It's a main revenue stream for me. I just follow Microsoft. I love the guy. Thank you, Bill, if you're watching this. Okay, that's the first. The second thing is this. Very important. Keep listening. The other trades, mechanical, electrical, fire, hydraulics, whatever, the other trades, you are competing for funding with them, all right? But they have consultants, you don't. So mechanical, electrical, fire, they have consultants. Those consultants are called the mechanical consultant, the electrical consultant, the fire consultant. Those consultants are consulting to your clients, their customers, helping them forecast money. So if you're in a premium building in the middle of a big city, it's quite possible that the building owner knows that they need $1 million next year to upgrade the chillers. Or in 5 years' time, they're going to upgrade the mechanical control panels. Or in 15 years, they're going to upgrade the lifts. Because those trades have consultants consulting for them. You, the BMS company, doesn't have BMS consultants. Very few people do what I do. Very few people. You need to start acting like a consultant and stop acting like a contractor, because no one has your back unless you live in Melbourne, where I live. So when you put a fee proposal asking for money that's not being forecasted, you're basically saying to the owner, I need $50,000. Can you take that away from somebody else's budget? Can you take that from the electrical budget or the mechanical budget? They don't do a lighting control system upgrade next year. They're gonna have LED lighting everywhere. They've got money for that. That consultant was telling them about that 5 years ago. So you, the BMS industry, the building automation system industry, are competing with other trades who are more organized than you are for funding. You're not gonna get the funding. So that's it. This is part 1. I think there'll be 4 parts. I'm gonna try and do one of these every Sunday. If I could be bothered, I'll try hard. But subscribe to the channel and keep up to date with this sequence. I think next week's one's gonna be really good too. Week 1, we ask for the money when the customer doesn't have the money. We didn't help our customer forecast the money. That's why. Once you get through a few weeks of this, you'll be thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe we ever got a proposal approved, because we're doing nothing to get our proposals approved. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.